welcome back everybody to a new episode of the new Community Choice. My name is Shadow of Resho Gaming, and last time we asked you guys what your favorite Nintendo handheld console was, so let's go right into the results. Coming in at number 5 with a measly 7% of the votes, we have the OG DS. The DS was kind of a revolutionary handheld in itself because it gave you two separate screens to look at, and one was actually a touch screen. That was pretty new for its time, and it was actually used quite well. The games library for that system was huge. The only problem it really had was it was a little bit clunky, and it kind of got tiring to hold after a few hours of gameplay. All of that aside, it is still a really awesome handheld. And not surprisingly enough, coming in at number 4 is the next generation of the DS Lite at 10% of the votes. The DS Lite was essentially the same thing as the DS, but it gave it a sleeker design, it made it a whole lot smaller and easier to carry, and there was actually a brightness filter on it so you could actually see the gameplay. I know with the regular DS, people kind of had some problems with it because it was a little bit dark. But they kind of seem to have a problem with a lot of systems being dark in the old days. But with the DS Lite, they fixed the lighting problem. Get it? Yeah? Oh, I'm pretty funny. Anyway, moving on to number 3 with 11% of the votes is probably one of my favorites from my childhood, the Gameboy Advanced Sp. The Gameboy SP, kind of similar to the same fashion of the DS Lite, is the second iteration of the Game Boy Advance console. The SP was actually a whole lot different than the regular Game Boy Advance because it actually flipped open, so you could kind of flip it open and shut it down like a regular DS does, but it only has one screen, and it pretty much functions the same way as the Game Boy Advance. The one cool thing about this, though, is it kind of felt a lot brighter than the regular Game Boy Advance. I don't know if it's just me, but I know the Game Boy Advance was a whole lot darker. I don't know, maybe that's just me. The Game Boy SP seemed like a lot brighter, kind of like with the DS Lite. Of course, you could also play all of your standard Game Boy Advance games, or your Game Boy games. So it was a really neat handheld to get at the time. I know I still have mine, I just don't know where my charger is, so I can never play it again because it's dead. Tears. Well, moving on from my sob story, coming in at number 2, we have the newest handheld console, the new Nintendo 3DS at 16% of the votes. Like I said, the new Nintendo 3DS is the newest handheld release. Pretty much it's a 3DS, but it has like a lot of cool little upgrades. There's a second circle pad up in the right hand corner that you can use, and there's also 2 extra shoulder buttons. And the 3D is a whole lot better. I myself have the Majora's Mask 3DS, and oh my gosh, it's awesome. You can actually pretty much turn it almost to a 90-degree angle and still hold the 3D. If you don't have a regular 3DS yet, I would definitely recommend getting this one. Or if you do have one, still go ahead and get this one. It's a whole lot better. It's not necessary to play regular 3DS games, except for Xenoblade Chronicles, so even if you don't have one, you don't really need to worry about it too much. And finally, coming in at number 1, to nobody's surprise hopefully, stealing away the competition at 50% of the votes, we have the regular 3DS. I was kind of expecting this to win. I didn't expect it to win by such a large margin. Like literally every other comment was, oh my gosh, 3DS! Anyway, the 3DS was released a few years ago. It was kind of a revolutionary handheld because it actually allowed you to use the use of 3D, and while it was kind of a broken mess, and if you moved it all, it broke, it was still really cool, and all the games for it are freaking awesome. Fire Emblem Awakening, Animal Crossing New Leaf, Pokemon X and Y, there's literally a butt ton of awesome games for this console, and it is definitely deserving of the number 1 spot. Alright, now I'm immediately going to jump ship away from handhelds and go right back to consoles. These console games are like one of my favorite Nintendo series, so I'd love to use a lot of questions for these, except somebody already used them all. So I'm going to ask you the one question we haven't asked you. Who is your favorite captain from the Pikmin series? Now there are 6 different captains in total you can choose from. You can choose from Captain Olimar, who started out the Pikmin series and he's gone all the way through to Pikmin 3. There's Louie and the President, who have been in since Pikmin 2. And then we have the 3 new captains, Alf, Charlie, and Bratney, because no one likes her. At least I don't. Anyway, you can vote for any of those 6. Hopefully not Bratney, down in the comments below. Also make sure if you have an awesome idea for a question on the show, make sure to leave it in the poll in the description and I'll read through them. And if I like them, I'll probably end up using it sometime in a future episode. I already have a butt ton of suggestions so far that I'm probably going to end up using that you guys submitted, so just make sure to leave it there if you think you have an awesome idea. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to NinBuzz if you have not already. Favorite this video, share it around, and if you like my annoying voice, you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel at Resho Gaming, or you can follow me on Twitter at ReshoWolf. There's a lot of Reshos, so it shouldn't be too hard to find me. Or you can just leave a comment in my videos saying how much you hate me. I get those anyway, but you know, it raises my self-esteem. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I have been Shadow, you have been the audience, and I will see you next week for the new community choice.